Hey everyone. All right, my name is Erica. I am a product manager here at Pendo, and I'll be giving a brief overview of our product suite, as well as a demo inside of our product. I'll be taking questions at the end of the webinar, so stick around if you need anything clarified. And of course, this webinar will also be recorded and sent to you probably a day or two after the webinar is over. First, we'd like to set the stage about why we even exist, which is to enable our customers to deliver on the promise of a customer-centric and data-driven product. I think this is a great quote from Ramneek Gupta, which basically boils it down to, if the experience is bad, people will leave. There are a lot more options out there for consumers and businesses that if you don't deliver on this promise that you've sold, you'll almost certainly be replaced. And another quote that I've heard recently from a customer is, in the first 3 months, the customers think it's their fault. After that, it's yours. So whether you have a brand new product on the market or a legacy product with known UX issues, Pendo is an awesome solution to turn product experiences into product success. So product teams struggle to navigate these disparate silos of disconnected point solutions. And in order to move the needle on customer outcomes, you really have to have a solution that's looking at all aspects of the customer journey. And most people don't know this, but Pendo actually means value in Latin. And so that's the root of what we're trying to solve here. And that's what you and your customers get at the end of the day. It's about product experiences and delighting your customers. Today, we're going to talk specifically about insights and guidance. So what I find most important about Pendo is how quickly and easily I can gather insights about our customers and know what they're doing in our product. So we're very user specific and not device specific, so you can track activity across any screen or any product line. And in many situations, both in my former life as a customer success manager and my current life as a product manager, I need to get access to customer activity quickly. I don't have time to ask engineers. I don't have time to wait. I need to move fast. And with Pendo, if I tag a feature, you'll see later on in our demo, it's code free, it's a WYSIWYG, and I get the data from the past 6 years within minutes. And I'll show you how easy it is to do this later on. And now that I have the data, I can take action using guidance. Again, the most important thing is zero reliance on engineers to build beautiful guides that look like just an extension of our product. So I can free their time to focus on building what's next on our roadmap. And I can test different designs, messaging, and have different segmentation. So I can do that before committing to one type of guide or even one feature. It's really nice to experiment and iterate quickly. And not only that, but I can use the guide analytics as part of my cohort analysis, just adding another layer to the importance of an all-in-one product cloud. And I can't speak for every product manager, but I don't have time to ask engineers to build tooltips when I can do it myself in 5 minutes. It's also really important that Pendo plays nicely with the rest of your technology stack. And so whether you want to pull data out of Pendo and into a data warehouse like Redshift or Snowflake, or if you want to pull data from something like Salesforce or another CRM, we kind of make sure that we play well and extend to all of your key systems. And for example, here at Pendo, we pull data in from Salesforce, so we can slice and dice our customer base, making segmentation and guide delivery even more targeted to the right audience. We're also able to make more high-level business decisions by having more information about our customers. We also push data out to all our revenue teams and making sure data from Pendo is accessible throughout the entire organization. So regardless of your selected technology stack, Pendo can interact with those tools that you've built your business around and improves the value they all provide. So let's hop into the product and show you how it all works. So what you're seeing now is our dashboard. And what the dashboard is, it provides a high-level overview of different parts of the product that you want to keep track of. And these can be your own personalized dashboards, You can also share dashboards with other team members and then keep track of usage together. As you can see, I've got my own dashboard, but then I also have dashboards that others have shared with me. We have a couple different ways to get insights. One is the product, one is our people insights, and then we also have behavior, which we'll show you in a minute. The people insights is simply the users, right? The visitors, the accounts. And then we have this segment page that allows you to manage your audiences. Let's focus on the product insights first. If I wanted to tag some features, you would see them listed here in my feature list. Now, I don't want to have to tag all of my features on one day or spend, a lot of time doing that. And the beauty is that all of the features and all of the pages and all of the data is retroactive from the time of install. So I can worry about tagging the most important things now and then worry about the rest later. You can see here that I've tagged a lot of features already, but let's show you how easy it is to tag those features. And I'm going to launch the designer. And I'm going to choose an area of the product that I haven't yet tagged. So I can also see what's already been tagged, and then I can see a heat map of the areas of the product that have already been tagged and how much clicks are associated with them. So if I'm ready to tag my feature, I click tag, and then if I hover over the elements, you can see this red line, which is highlighting all of the elements that are available to be tagged. So I'm going to choose this add new, and it just asks me to name it. A group is a product area associated with certain areas of your product. It sounds pretty simple. So groupings of pages, features, and track events that you say collectively mean this part of your product. I'll add it to my dashboard group. I can designate whether this is a site-wide button or maybe it's just specific to this dashboard page. And you can see that Pendo has selected the element match. If you know CSS, you can select custom and enter it yourself. Otherwise, you just hit save and you're done. So now if I'm done tagging pages, I can go out back to Pendo. And then if I wanted to click in and see the data associated with it, I can click on it, and these are my feature details. I can see the number of visitors, the number of accounts, and the number of clicks associated within this date range. I can see the daily or even the weekly clicks, visitors, or accounts associated with this feature, and I can see the top visitors and top accounts associated with this feature. So very quickly, I'm able to get a lot of insight about this feature that normally I wouldn't have. And if I wanted to, see specifically admins, you can see my admin filters here. But if I wanted to see everyone, I could change my filter to everyone. This is a really powerful part of Pendo, this segmentation, where you get to choose how you view the data by what's important to you. And if I wanted to take that a step further, we actually have this awesome tool called Data Explorer. I'm going to go into a saved report where you can see, we're going to look at a feature or a page by account tier. So you can really start to see the data come alive, and you can choose different queries from different data sources and understand the breakdown of, who is accessing this feature, how important is it, is this being used by my strategic customers? You can change the view. If you don't like the bar, you can change it to a donut. And then I can save that to my dashboard as well. So getting all of the data in one place and making sure that it's accessible to everyone. So now we're going to jump into our guides. So I'm going to choose just a web guides, but we do have a mobile offering where you can tag and build guides across any device. So again, this guides list view is where I see all of my guides that I've currently created. I can filter them easily by just the ones that are maybe light boxes, and I want to know just where my desktop and all the ones that are public. So if I apply my filters, that helps me organize. And I'm going to create a new guide. And I want it to be here. And you'll see that you'll have some different themes that you can choose from. You can build from scratch. So if you're someone who kind of likes a blank slate, you can work with that. Or if somebody else has already created something that you like, then you can use that as well. So for example, if I'm maybe trying to get some feedback, I can choose this layout. Name it. And you'll see a screenshot directly of what this guide looks like to make it really clear what the guide will look like to your customers. And it's really nice to be able to preview that. On this guide details page, you'll also be able to edit the activation, the segment, which again are those visitors or users, the people who are eligible to see this guide, and you can control that right here on this page. Segmentation is really important for guide building because you don't want to just blast everyone with a guide. You want to make sure that it's relevant and targeted. Maybe this is a very specific admin only feature. So why would I target a guide to everyone if only admins can see it? So I'll change my segment. You'll see the eligible visitors change. Another great thing is you can schedule this guide to go live. So if I want to start it maybe a week from the date that it was launched, probably not in the past, and then I can select the time. I will do 8 a.m. And then I can also set an expiration date. Maybe I only want this guide to be visible for a week because I think, okay, after a week, it's going to be there's going to be a lot of responses. Customers are going to be really pumped about it. So I'm going to save that. And let's say I want to make some tweaks to the guide itself. Well, I've already got a great base here, but I still want to manage it. Still want to tweak it, change the wording. So I'm back in my designer. And now I have this WYSIWYG editor, and it's super easy for non-technical folks to be able to edit the design, but it's also easy for technical people too as well because we do have a code block. So if I want to make sure that the location is right, everything's centered on the page, maybe if I want it to be bottom aligned instead of center aligned, maybe I want it top aligned, whatever the case may be, you can change it and you'll see the preview update as well. The site-wide looks good. If I only want it to show on desktop and tablets, or maybe I want all devices or just web only, I can make that as well. And then for the behavior, what if I want this button to maybe dismiss the guide, or if I have another step, I can create a next step. Another awesome functionality is this launch guide, so you can actually have a guide launch another guide, which is really helpful, or even a URL link. So I don't need to know code to be able to make that happen. Now I want to make this button a different color. So if I hover over, you can see this outline here where you can see easily I can just add or edit. So before I edit that button, I want to maybe add a different button. So I've just clicked and now I have my building blocks. So I have a lot of different options to choose from, and they're separated here by theme or by what they do. So we've got some general building blocks, text, buttons, maybe multi-button, a date block where you want someone to choose a date. We've got media, so you can add an image or a YouTube video. Or another really popular feature is polls. So I can add just like an open text poll. Maybe I'll do that. And then I'll say, tell us more. Then I'm going to want to edit the width. All right, that looks good. And I want to now change my button to, instead of saying submit feedback, say submit. I can also add multiple actions to buttons. So you can see how easy it is to edit and to build a guide. make sure I save it. And when I'm done, I exit. If I want to save this as a new layout, I can for other people to use. But for now, I'm just going to exit. Another really cool thing about our guides is that we have metrics associated with these guides. I want to make sure that I choose a guide that actually have metrics associated with it. But this kind of delivers again on why guidance and insights together are so powerful. Let's see, here we go. So I can see how many people have visited. I can see how many first-time visitors versus total visitors. I can see if they're going through each step and where they're dropping off, the time on the guide, as well as just the guide activity as a whole. And so if I wanted to use this now as a segment, I could, because now I can create a segment of just people who have visited this guide by choosing guide, choose my guide, viewed or not viewed ever. So again, now I'm getting really targeted. I'm using the analytics from the guide activity, and I'm just creating more and more powerful segmentation. And the last thing that I want to showcase is this resource center. I mostly want to showcase it because you can build this for yourself as well. But if you do end up, needing questions or need any help, you can access our help center. We have quick start checklists, lots of use cases, and our customers are able to do some really cool things with their resource centers as well. And we're going to go with some questions now. We've got a lot of great questions. The first one is, how do you tag features in an iOS app? That is a great question. I don't have time to demo it today, but we do have a way to capture screens and to tag features per screen. And that is done through the same type of designer. So it's all WYSIWYG. You don't need to know code, and you'll be able to see all of the elements on that page or on that screen. Maybe we'll have a mobile demo soon. You can also look at our website as to getting more information on that. Another question is, are there read-only views of the analytics? The answer is yes. So we do have different permissions. The lowest level permission is read-only, which means that you can edit your own data, but you can't touch anything that anyone else has created. So if I create a segment, then someone else can't go in and change that segment. Another question is, who can edit themes? Again, based on permissions, you typically set an admin and can go in and say, okay, I only want admins to be able to edit themes. Or maybe you have a user level person who you trust to be able to edit the themes, so you would give them those additional permissions. So it's really on a case-by-case basis. Another question is, what if I have multiple products? Yeah, that's a great question. I mentioned earlier that you can have multiple products in one Pendo subscription, and what we do is we separate it by your product lines. So you can fluidly see what people are doing through each product line. Are they going back and forth? Are the same users accessing multiple product lines? And so the data is separate, but you can see it as an aggregate within the UI, which is an awesome functionality if you're trying to track the different activity throughout your product lines. Another question is, does Pendo have recommendations or best practices on how many guides we show on a given day, week, or month? That's an awesome question. We have a lot of resources online about what we call internally our SWAT team. We have a guide SWAT team. It started off as a group of people meeting once a week, but now we've got it down to a science where we have a Slack channel, and We basically recommend turning on a functionality that we have called guide throttling and ordering. So you're able to order the guides that you think are the most important. And then throttling is basically designating how many guides per hour, day, week, minute that you want people to be able to see guides. So if one person is eligible for 10 guides, for example, if you have throttling turned on and they're only able to see a guide once a day, then you will, that person will only see that guide, one guide per day. So they're not going to get blasted with 10 guides. You can also override the throttling, which is another really important functionality, because if you have a really important announcement you need to make, you can override that throttling to make sure that folks see that message first. Another question. All right. These are really good questions coming in. When you get the response to a poll, are they tagged with the user or other information to see if there's a correlation between response and user type? That is a perfect use case for Data Explorer, where you can grab the guide view or a survey or a poll result, a segment, and you can see if there's a correlation between the response and the type or the metadata associated with that user. So yeah, that's one of my favorite things about Pendo, is you can not only get these sources of information, but you can put them together in a way that actually is makes sense and is actionable. Do you have solutions to show in-app marketing content? Like, if I see a segment of my users, maybe good to upsell to a higher tier, we'd like to show a pitch inside of the product in the right place at the right moment. Yep, absolutely. So you can show like video content, you can link out to a webinar, you can even tease certain functionality and then tag a button of like, oh, this person clicked on this, and then that could potentially open up an opportunity for your sales team right inside of Salesforce if you have our Salesforce connection. So it's absolutely possible to put marketing content inside of your resource center. We have some customers that put a lot of their webinar content inside of their resource center. It's a great opportunity for product marketing to get in there and market these new features. Yeah, we have a lot of our marketing team that use Pendo for that use case. How does Pendo know what type of user each individual user is? Do you have to tag each individual user as a type? So there's a couple ways that you would be able to tell Pendo what type of user. You can do that through the agent or through the snippet. So if you are currently collecting that information in your product, maybe on the back end, when you set up your account, you can have an engineer designate that for you. If you don't collect that information, you can use our Salesforce integration or another CRM, or use the API to programmatically push that data into Pendo. Or you could use a Pendo poll if you can't do that for some reason. And so we actually do this ourselves for people that we don't have information on, which is pretty rare. We put up a Pendo poll asking them what their role is. And then hopefully they answer. We have a pretty high response rate because most people like to self-disclose, their role. Then we use that poll response as metadata for segmentation. And I think that's all the questions that we have time for. I really appreciate everyone attending, and if there were any questions that we didn't get to, then we'll be sure to reach out via email and be on the lookout for the recording. Thanks, everyone.